Hey superstars, welcome to the Get Rich Without Being a Bitch podcast, and I am your host Vanessa for this journey. We're going to be challenging some stereotypes, shattering glass ceilings, really looking at what it takes to live richly and to design a business that's going to support the life that you really want to be living. I'm going to be sharing lots of tips, tools, and strategies along the way, and I can't wait for you to join me on this journey. Hey superstars, welcome back to another episode of Get Rich Without Being a Bitch. You know, I always start with every topic is important, and the truth is, every topic is important. There's a lot to learn and to get our heads around in terms of growing and scaling businesses. But in terms of growing a business beyond you, one thing that is going to be really important is getting beyond the belief and the assumption that clients only want to work with you. And if they're not working with you, you're going to lose them. This is a big fear that comes up. And I remember it for myself. The very first time I hired other coaches to start to deliver part of a program that I was leading, it was scary. You know, there's a lot of things that come up. Oh my gosh, A, will they deliver? Will they be good? Frankly, I also had fears, and I'm going to put this out there. I had fears of what if they prefer my team to me? What if, this was my scarcity mindset? What if they, want to just engage with them instead and I lose the business, right? I'm talking 15, 18 years ago when I probably didn't have the right kind of structures in place, but those were some of the real fears that went through my head. But we can't grow and scale a business if everything is dependent on us. So I want to give you today a couple of thoughts and beliefs and structures to really think through that process so that you can grow and scale a business without you. Otherwise, you're always going to be stuck in the weeds, right? And working all of those long hours. And I don't think that's the rich life that you've signed up for and that's part of your vision. So the first thing that I found was really helpful, and I share this with clients today, is actually in terms of hiring, we need to hire other really good people. We do, right? We can sometimes be a little, let's say, scarcity mindset, cheap, worried, whatever it is, and think that, okay, if we pay less, we can still have people to deliver. And that may be sabotaging, frankly, some of the work that you're doing, right? And delivering at substandard. So hiring good people, and when I say hiring, to clarify, this could be hiring as independent contractors or employees or part-time workers, right? It doesn't mean full-time, and I want to be super, super clear about that. But actually investing in good people is one of the ways that we grow and scale that business beyond ourselves, right? So yes, sometimes that requires you to, pull on your big girl panties and be courageous and hire people that potentially are better than you. And honestly, in certain areas, they really should be better than you, because this leads to the second part of this, where it becomes an easier conversation with clients. Because sure, if you are, like most of my business owners, still very much in the biz dev role and doing selling, chances are you're having conversations and communications with prospects, and they may be making an assumption that they're going to work directly with you, right? You're building that relationship, that bond and rapport. And, now all of a sudden you feel like, oh my gosh, I've got to be honest and let them know it's not going to be just me. How do we even do that? So part of it is shifting from the language of I to we. And you really must speak not from a solo service provider or that you are the person, but you're really talking in terms of we, like we, the company, we, the team. Now, clients may even start to ask you, oh, who's we, right? And that's okay. You've got to be ready to answer that question. But shifting that language is a very important step to make. It's subtly now seeding in the mind of that prospect that it's not necessarily you. The second piece around this is to elevate your team. So we want to elevate team members in terms of reasons why the client is going to be delighted to work with them and not you. Like, there are certain things that I am just not that good at in my business Does it mean, zone of excellence? Possibly. Could I do these things? Yes. Am I the best person? Am I going to bring as much passion as some of my other team members? Absolutely not. And that's the key, right? When we're talking about who you're going to work with, we want to be clear in saying, and you're going to be working with John or Susan over here, and they really excel in this aspect of whatever it is you're selling, right? They are so good at being able to do this for you. You're going to love working with you. So you're kind of selling your team members and elevating them, but specifically give real specific clues and pointers as to why. Because now your prospects, all they care about, frankly, is that their problems are solved and they get the results they're coming to you for. It's probably not so top of mind for them that it must be you, right? But again, we make some assumptions as well, and then we find ourselves in this awkward position. So really elevating team members is key. Sometimes it's also about letting them know that you will still be overseeing. Again, many of our business owners are still in a place where they are overseeing the work. We work with a lot of attorneys, for example. And if our, women law firm owners are hiring an associate or a paralegal, they've got to be overseeing that work. Now, clients don't necessarily know that, right? Clients don't necessarily know how law firms work. So again, we need to be sure to communicate it. It might be that you work on the strategy because that's really where your zone of genius is. And then you let them know that you will be overseeing the work that your team and associates are performing so that it's really aligned with the overall quality and the values of the firm, right? Those prospects need that reassurance about the quality that's going to be delivered and frankly, that they're going to get the outcomes that they're paying for. That's what they really care about. Now, the other piece around this, again, and this can be a really good strategic move, is depending on what level you are in business. But I would say most of our business owners are coming to us below $1 million in revenue to scale past that 7-figure mark. And at that place, it means that they are still involved in delivery. They are not hands off by any means. Now, what we recommend is that the owner decides who are going to be their champagne clients that they're taking on, that they're going to work with less clients, but the ones that are perfectly aligned with them. And then the team is going to be working with the rest of clients, right? And or servicing those clients. Now, one of the positionings that you can use with prospects is if they really want to work with you, then you have a higher fee attached to working with you. Because in reality, if we present as everybody being equal, and especially if you are in a business whereby perhaps you are charging by hourly rates and it seems like everybody is the same or the fee is the same, no matter who you work with, for sure, if you've got the relationship with that client, they're likely to say, well, I'd love to have you. And one of the ways that we can really differentiate is to say, well, my area of expertise is this. I can help you, and the investment will be this. And we want that investment to be significantly higher than if they're working directly with one of your team members. Now, good news is some clients will say, I'm really, really happy to pay that. I want to work with you and I'm delighted to do that. And you're okay with it because you get a great client and they're paying more for it. But for many, just that conversation alone is enough for them to say, oh no, it's fine. As long as I know that you're overseeing it and you're involved, I'm very happy to work with one of your team. So I'd love to hear from you as always about, what's resonating today. Where are you getting stuck in thinking that, you have to service everybody? You're giving in potentially when clients are saying, no, I must work with you. And possibly you haven't got some strategies for how to deal with that. But this is going to be absolutely key to growing and scaling your business beyond you. And frankly, living a rich life where when business gets better, your life gets bigger too.